Hello, my name is Della Kopp, and I am a member of the American Business Women's Association, ABWA, Maya chapter based in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Today, I would like to welcome speaker and author Sarah Brabbs to our program. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, how are you?
Great, thanks. So glad you can join us today.
Yeah.
Sarah Brabbs is a speaker, author, and coach. Her book is entitled So People Say You're an A-Hole, a book for you, people who love you, and people who work with you. In her speaking and work with others, Sarah is result-oriented with a focus on intentionally impacting her corner of the world in a positive way and helping people have deeper, more meaningful relationships at work and at home. Sarah, do you have anything else about yourself that you would like to share with our audience today?
Well, that really summarizes the work I do and why I do it, but I do have a fun fact that's kind of unusual that just happened I would love to share. And that is that I was just contacted in the last few days by CBS. Apparently, one of the writers at CBS is a fan of my book, and they are going to be using it as a prop. So I just signed a release, and it's going to appear in their upcoming show called Tommy, which is about a female detective for the LAPD. She leads the detective bureau. So that's really exciting. Kind of a random thing.
That is so exciting. Congratulations. So, which actually brings us to one of the reasons we're chatting today is what influenced you to become a public speaker?
Well, it was really because I felt compelled to share information that is life-changing, and that's the long and short of it. So that's what I see my job as, and I do it in a pretty effective way because it seems like that's the response I get, is that what I'm sharing and how I share it is really, really impactful and changes lives. So that's why.
So when you are out in public and speaking, do you determine a topic beforehand? Is it based always around your book? How do you make that decision?
Well, I have 5 talks that I do on a regular basis. So typically with an event organizer, we'll talk about the theme of the conference or the meeting, or if I'm doing a training in a company. So if it's a conference or a meeting, I typically do one of my talks, and every year or two, I usually develop a new talk. But when it comes to training at companies, I build trainings around the topics that I know based on what the companies need or are looking for. So I guess it depends is the answer to your question.
Okay, but that was a good explanation of you do have different topics that you can pull forward depending upon what the occasion is. So that was good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You are the author of the book entitled So People Say You're an A-Hole, a book for you, people who love you, and people who work with you. What motivated you to write the book?
Well, that's an interesting question and answer. And that is that 2 women actually inspired me to write this book. So I had a whole different book outlined. And as a speaker, it's a really good idea to have a book. It's considered a credibility add-on. So I always knew I'd write a book. I didn't expect anyone to read it or it to be very good. And I had it outlined. It would have been an interesting book, but probably not widely read. However, in my life at that time, there were a couple of women that were connected to people in my circle, my close circle, and they were being very, very mean. And I remember there was a week where I was just ruminating about why are people such a-holes? I just kept circling that question. And because in reality, it's not difficult to learn about different styles and methods and choices that we have around communication and our behavior. And there are people out there who just don't take the time to do that or have any self-awareness, and they really make life hard for other people that are in their wake. And that's what these 2 women were doing to people that I really care about. So that is what inspired me to write this book, actually, is these 2 women.
Okay. So your book is actually broken into 3 sections. One is about basically yourself and analyzing if you're an a-hole or not. And then it talks about relationships and your partner or lover, and then about in the workplace. So how did you decide to have those 3 different sections?
Well, try to cover the different scenarios that people experience a difficult person inside of would be the first part of the answer. But the part about relationships is something I've had extra education, so to speak, on what makes and breaks relationships, because I went to the Gottman Institute in Seattle, and they are the world's probably top experts on that topic.
Mm-hmm.
And I got some training there, and their information was actually the first information that really changed my life and was directly related to why I started speaking. But anyway, so I wanted to write a book for people who were in a relationship with someone who had become difficult, but they didn't start out that way. And that happens really, really often. And a lot of times people choose to stay, but they don't know what to do. So that's kind of what that section is about.
Yeah. So I noticed on LinkedIn, someone referred to you as a catalyst for change. Why do you think she said that?
Well, this is funny. She heard me speak kind of on a lark because I came to try out a talk on a test audience, and she happened to be in the audience. And she was so impacted by it that when I gave it for real, she came and she brought her husband so he could hear it also. And I think the reason she said that was because she was immediately changed by hearing this talk at that particular time, and she dragged her husband out, and I didn't talk to him directly, but he seemed impacted based on his reactions non-verbally. Mm-hmm. So I suspect that's why she said that. And that talk she was actually referring to was a talk I do that has to do with listening, transformational listening. So.
Okay. So Sarah, ABWA is so excited to have you presenting Truth Seeking in Relationships at our conference on March 23rd, Women Together, Be You, Your Best You. Anything else you would like to share?
No, I look forward to speaking and meeting all of the people that attend.
Sarah, thanks so much for your time today.
Yes, it was nice meeting you, Della. I'll meet you in person in March.